Hello and welcome back to English Stories Cube. Imagine waking up before the sun rises. The world is quiet. The streets are still. But in millions of homes across the globe, from the crowded lanes of Delhi to the wide avenues of Istanbul, from the villages of Indonesia to the suburbs of London, something beautiful is happening. Families are gathered around tables, eating together in the soft darkness before dawn. There is warmth in their eyes, peace in their hearts, and a deep sense of purpose in the air. This is Ramzan, or Ramadan, as it is known in Arabic. Every year, nearly 2 billion Muslims around the world observe this sacred month. For 30 days, they fast from sunrise to sunset. They eat no food. They drink no water. They give up many of the small pleasures that make daily life comfortable. And yet, ask anyone who has truly experienced Ramzan, and they will tell you something surprising. This month is not about suffering. It is not about hardship. It is, in fact, one of the most joyful, peaceful, and spiritually powerful times of their entire year. But why? What is the real story of Ramzan? Where did it come from? What does it truly mean? And what can people of all backgrounds learn from this ancient tradition? Let's explore the history. Where did Ramzan begin? To understand Ramadan, we need to go back nearly 1,400 years to the Arabian Peninsula, to the city of Mecca, in what is now Saudi Arabia. The year was 610 CE. A deeply thoughtful and noble man, the beloved Prophet Muhammad, who was about 40 years old, would often go alone to a cave called Hira on the outskirts of Mecca. He would sit in silence, thinking deeply about the world, about the injustice he saw around him, about the poor who suffered, about the idols that people worshipped without understanding. One night, during the holy month of Ramadan, something extraordinary happened. Muslims believe that the angel Gabriel, appeared to the Prophet Muhammad and revealed the first verses of the Quran, the holy book of Islam. This night is known as Laylatul Qadr, the night of power. It is considered the most sacred night of the entire Islamic calendar. From that moment, Ramadan became more than just a month on the calendar. It became the month of divine revelation, the month when the words of God first came to humanity through the beloved Prophet Muhammad. Fasting during this month was later made obligatory for all Muslims in 624 CE, as stated clearly in the Quran. The science and the spirit. Why do Muslims fast? This is a question many non-Muslims ask, and it is a wonderful question. Why would anyone willingly give up food and water for an entire month? The answer operates on many levels: physical, mental, and spiritual. On the physical level, fasting gives the body a chance to rest and reset. When you stop eating for extended periods, your body enters a state that scientists call autophagy, a process where the body cleans out damaged cells and regenerates new ones. Modern science has confirmed what ancient traditions already knew, that periodic fasting is good for the human body. In fact, the 2016 Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded for research on autophagy. On the mental level, fasting builds extraordinary discipline. When you choose not to eat, even when food is right in front of you, you are strengthening your willpower every single day. Ramzan teaches Muslims to control their desires rather than being controlled by them. This applies not just to food, but to anger, gossip, jealousy, and every other negative impulse. A person who fasts properly is also supposed to fast from bad behavior. On the spiritual level, hunger creates humility. When your stomach is empty and you feel weak, you remember how dependent you are on food, on water, on the mercy of God. You stop taking things for granted. You feel grateful, and that gratitude transforms into prayer, reflection, and a renewed connection to what truly matters in life. A day in the life during Ramzan. Let us walk through a typical day so you can truly feel what Ramzan is like. The alarm rings at around 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It is time for sehri, also called sahur, the pre-dawn meal. Families gather in the kitchen, still half asleep, cooking bread, lentils, or whatever nourishing food they have. They eat, drink plenty of water, and offer the far prayer before the sun rises. Then the fast begins. Throughout the day, no food, no water, no smoking. The hours pass with prayer, work, school, and small acts of kindness. People read the Quran. They reflect. They call their parents. They help their neighbors. As the sun begins to set, the anticipation builds. The table is set. The family gathers. And then the call to prayer rings out across the city. The fast is broken, traditionally with dates and water, just as the Prophet Muhammad himself used to do. This moment of iftar, breaking the fast, is one of the most beautiful in Muslim life. The relief, the gratitude, the togetherness. It is almost impossible to describe in words. After iftar comes the Tarawih prayer, special evening prayers that can last for an hour or more, during which the entire Quran is recited over the 30 days of Ramadan. Mosques fill with worshipers, shoulder to shoulder, in a powerful display of community and faith. The social side. Ramadan is about community. One of the most misunderstood aspects of Ramadan is that it is not a solitary practice. It is deeply communal. Every evening, mosques and Muslim families open their doors for iftar parties. Rich and poor sit together. Strangers become friends. In many Muslim countries, long tables are set up in the streets so that anyone, regardless of faith or wealth, can come and eat. In countries like India and Pakistan, it is common for Hindu and Christian neighbors to be invited to iftar, and they come because the spirit of Ramadan crosses religious boundaries. Zakat and Sadaqah, charity and generosity, reach their peak during Ramadan. Muslims are required to give 2.5% of their savings to those in need, and during this month, giving becomes almost competitive in the most beautiful way. Charities report massive increases in donations. Food banks overflow. The hungry are fed. This generosity is not incidental. It is the whole point. Ramadan is designed to make you remember what it feels like to be without, so that you will give more freely to those who are without every single day. Laylatul Qadr, the night worth 1,000 months. Among all the nights of Ramadan, one stands above all others. Laylatul Qadr, the night of power. The Quran says this night is better than 1,000 months. Muslims believe that on this night, the angels descend and peace fills the earth until dawn. It is considered the most powerful night for prayer, reflection, and asking for forgiveness. The exact date is not known. It falls on one of the odd-numbered nights of the last 10 days of Ramadan. And this mystery is itself a teaching. Stay devoted all the way to the end. Many Muslims spend the last 10 nights of Ramadan in itikaf, a spiritual retreat in which they stay in the mosque, praying, reading, and reflecting, disconnected from the noise of the world. It is, in every sense, a spiritual detox. Eid al-Fitr, the great celebration. Ramadan ends with one of the most joyful celebrations in the Islamic world, Eid al-Fitr, the festival of breaking the fast. On the morning of Eid, Muslims dress in their finest clothes, gather for a special prayer, and then spend the day visiting family and friends. Children receive gifts and money, i.e., sweets are shared, old arguments are forgiven, new beginnings are made. Before the Eid prayer, every Muslim is required to pay zakat al-fitr, a small amount of food or money given specifically so that the poor can also celebrate Eid with happiness. The whole celebration is a reminder you fasted not just for yourself, but for everyone. You grew in spirit not just to be better alone, but to make your community better together. What can everyone learn from Ramadan? You do not need to be Muslim to find something beautiful and valuable in the story of Ramadan. This ancient tradition carries lessons for all of humanity. It teaches us that restraint is strength. In a world that constantly pushes us to consume more, eat more, buy more, scroll more, Ramadan says, stop, be still, choose less, and discover how much is already enough. It teaches us that gratitude is transformative. When you feel hunger, even for a day, a glass of water becomes the most precious thing in the world. That shift in perspective, from taking things for granted to seeing them as gifts, can change your entire life. It teaches us that community matters. In our increasingly isolated world, Ramadan gathers people around shared tables and shared values. It reminds us that we are not meant to live alone. And above all, it teaches us that the greatest battles are fought within ourselves, against our own anger, our own selfishness, our own tendency to be less than what we are capable of being. Conclusion: a month like no other. The real story of Ramzan is not simply a story of hunger. It is a story of transformation, of millions of ordinary people choosing, for 30 days, to be extraordinary. It is a story that began in a cave in Arabia 1,400 years ago, when the Prophet Muhammad first received the divine revelation, and continues today in every corner of the world. Whether you observe Ramzan or simply observe it from the outside, there is something deeply moving about the sight of an entire community rising before the sun, fasting through the heat of the day, and breaking bread together at sunset with open hearts and grateful eyes. Ramzan Mubarak, blessed Ramzan, to all who celebrate, and to everyone else. May you find your own version of stillness, gratitude, and renewal in whatever form it takes. Thank you for listening to this story. If you enjoyed learning English through calm and meaningful stories, please like this video and subscribe to English Stories Cube. Keep listening, keep learning, and we will meet again with another real story.